So you've been having meetings here in Dover with Eurotunnel, with the Port Authority. What have they been telling you?
What they are very clear about is that we need to have an agreement, we need to have a deal, and that we need to make sure that we avoid those frictions at the border that not only can put traders off, but actually can cause a lot of disruption here on the ground.
Yeah, disruption is an understatement, isn't it? I have to say, I don't like to think of myself as someone who panics easily, but when I came to Dover a couple of weeks ago and spoke to the port, I was left feeling worried, frankly. You know, they were saying just a couple of minutes delay could cause tailbacks of 17 miles. Are you worried as well?
Any small changes have big consequences, and that's why I think it's important to listen to the detail of what they are suggesting is needed and make sure that we follow that advice.
And what they're saying is that we need a deal. I mean, that seems pretty clear.
Yes, I think we do need a deal. I think it's very clearly in the interests of all parties, because of course, you know, sitting here in Dover, the ferries are going over, not just they're going to France, but then the goods are spreading out across the whole continent. So every country in Europe has a big interest in this highly successful and expanding operation continuing to prosper.
So can you just take this idea that we could be leaving without a deal off the table? Because there's so much uncertainty, so much worry being caused about it. I mean, it's not going to happen, is it? We'll have a deal.
Well, it's a negotiation, and in any negotiation, a deal is concluded at the end of it. That's the reality of it.
So there will be a deal, is what you're saying?
I think there will be a deal. I think there'll be a good deal, but I can't pretend that there is a deal now that's in our back pocket and we're just going through the motions. This is a serious negotiation, needs to be done informed by the evidence.
Do businesses need to plan for a no-deal scenario?
Well, I think it's any business that looks ahead and looks at a range of possibilities, and so of course they consider that, just as the government is. In my department, I took the first preparation bill for a no-deal scenario through Parliament. The Nuclear Safeguards Bill got its royal assent last week, and that puts in place an arrangement in which we can continue to be able to safeguard our nuclear stocks, even when we're no longer part of the European arrangements. That's there in anticipation. But across all of these aspects, where sometimes businesses will prepare contingencies because that is prudent for them to do so, and they might be advised to do so. My purpose and the government's purpose is to make sure that they don't have to exercise them.
And if that's your purpose, to make sure that they don't have to implement these no-deal plans, could you see like an extension of Article 50 or something, just to give you a bit more time?
Well, again, I think we, at all times, need to be guided by the evidence on this. So, speaking to the people that run this very successful port, and the same at Eurotunnel, in order to make sure that we can continue the success and that we don't have frictions, there are things that would need to be put in place. Computer systems, for example, posts at the border, even if they checked automatically number plates, so through automatic number plate recognition. So what we need to assess is how long it would reasonably take to put it in practice. And then it seems to me that any reasonable person would have to be guided by the facts and the evidence. And I think you interviewed Liam Fox on your show last week, and he said the same, that you need to be aware of the technical requirements and respect.
Although he said that in respect to a transition, he said he could countenance a longer transition, but no extension to Article 50. So are you saying that, you know, if the businesses say we need a bit more time, Article 50
no,
could be extended?
I think Article 50 has been triggered, and we leave the European Union next year, and that is absolutely clear. I think what Liam was saying and what I agree with is when it comes to putting in place the arrangements for our permanent relationship, we have to be guided by the evidence, and that's only reasonable.
So the transition could be extended, is what you're saying?
Well, yeah. I think, again, you have to look at what is required. Business wants to get on with things, of course. Everyone wants to get on with things. I think the whole country is keen to see the steps taken to be in our our agreed end state.
Is the customs partnership still on the table?
Yes, we've got two groups that are looking at it. We've made a lot of progress in each of the groups.
So that could still happen in the customs partnership?
The purpose of having the two groups was to look in detail at the practicality of both the customs partnership, as it's been termed, and the maximum facilitation model, and that they're coming to a conclusion, and that will be the government will take a view on which is the most promising.
What's your view on which is the most promising?
Well, I think it would be a bit disrespectful to my colleagues who've been working on this. We haven't concluded our final report, and then we need to report it to the rest of my colleagues. So I think we'll have those discussions.
What's your view on how helpful some of those recent interventions have been? I'm thinking about, for example, Boris Johnson using a swear word when he talked about business. Jeremy Hunt saying it was inappropriate for Airbus to publicly air their concerns. Is that helpful?
I think the collective responsibility that we have is there for a reason. I think it's important.
Do you think that the Conservatives are supposed to be the party of business?
We are.
Boris Johnson's comments can't be helpful to that image.
Well, I've been very clear that I made a statement to the House of Commons on Monday in which I said I very strongly disagree with those statements. I think it is perfectly reasonable for businesses, just as anyone else in the country, to be able to set out their views, and especially to provide evidence. Because if you're working in a business at whatever level, you've got the experience of what it takes. I mean, here we are in the Port of Dover. If you come and talk to the people that operate it, they can tell you through, in a way that, if you're a layman and you just come on holiday and you roll up and board the ferry, you don't see the degree of automation and complexity that's there. So I think, why would you not want access to that advice? But it's not just for us, or even mainly for us. I talk to businesses all the time.
I'm interested in your relationship with business leaders, because there was a rather, shall we say, scathing article in the Times where it said that you were known as blancmange because you basically haven't got enough backbone when you're standing up, for business interests. I mean, what do you say to that? It can't be comfortable reading.
One of the things that I do, and I've been pleased to do, is to go around the world and make the case for investing in Britain. And if you take the automotive sector, from Nissan to Toyota to BMW to Peugeot, every one of the big automotive investment decisions that's come up in the last couple of years in which we've been in contention has been resolved in our favour.
If you look to what has been quoted in the Times, a mutineer, that's what they call this person, I'm sick and tired of his cowardice. He's supposed to be the one standing up for British business. So are you saying that in those private conversations with the Prime Minister, you are standing up for British business?
I've described what I think business wants, which is for discipline, for collective discipline, and actually doesn't really approve when one person is speaking out of...
But others are. Others around the cabinet table are, aren't they? That's the issue. People on the other side of the argument, perhaps the more Brexiteer side of the argument, they are speaking out. They're writing columns, they're giving interviews where they're being incredibly outspoken. So do you not have a responsibility to do the same?
I think it's important to respect the discipline of being part of a team, to take a professional approach to it, to make your case very vigorously and backed up by evidence, and to do that tenaciously. And I think if you look at some of the discussions we've had, and actually some of the commentary in the last couple of weeks, I don't think there's anyone that doubts that the business, the importance of making sure that view and the role that business has in employing millions of people in good jobs up and down the country is at the heart of our decision making. And
that point that you just make there actually is another crucial one, isn't it? The employment of millions of people. And one of the things that businesses will be concerned about post-Brexit is their ability to recruit the best of the best. So do you think that free movement of people should be part of the renegotiation?
No, I think one of the things that's clear from the result of the referendum is that free movement of people was something that was clearly part of the decision to leave the European Union, and so that is absolutely clear. But that's not to say that we shouldn't have the ability, as all successful economies do have, to be able to have people from other countries come and work here.
Can you see EU citizens having better access to jobs market than people from other countries?
I think it's too early to say. I think we're going to have an immigration bill. That'll be preceded.
So it could be on the table then.
Right. Well,
part of the discussion.
One of the things that the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary have done, have asked the Migration Advisory Council to give some advice on how we can make sure that we can access the skilled workers that we need. We need to listen to their advice, and we'll bring forward proposals on that.